Kive. Dečkoran. Fekdačto? Povikda. Octavi? You speak Octavian. Look, if you are coming in, come in quickly and close the door behind you. Do not be alarmed, child. I simply obfuscated the door. The sorcerers of the fifth tower are insufferable at best of times. I will not have them in my library on the night Aalveir ushers in the song of Darshas Nay. You do not hear the songs, do you? Good. Then you are welcome here. I am Tsenzenko, Master Librarian of Octavian Academy. And what is your name, child? No, I do not know how old you are. I do know how old I am, and I am old, even for elf. To me, everyone seems child. But come, sit. Unfortunately, beyond water, I have no refreshments to offer you. Would you like water? Very good. There you go. But remember, this is still library, so do not spill. Now, how are you enjoying your first days at Academy? No, I am not reading your mind. This is not magic. If you had been here longer than a few days, you would have been advised against wandering the grounds on this night, and you do not have the bearing of one seeking to prove themselves through act of reckless bravado. You came to the right place, however. As a first year, you will find this place more home to you than your own tower. If you study, that is. You are studious, are you not? Good. Now, how far had you progressed before you were chosen for Academy? None. None at all. Such is the irony, I suppose, of having the bull's greatest academy of the arcane in a country dedicated to crude physical battle and conquest. You did not know the danger tonight, so you are obviously not pious, and you are not built for thieving. So if you learned no magic before now, then you must have trained with sword and shield. That is rare skill here. A word of advice, child. Do not let anyone know you have this skill. You will make enemies here, and it is best not to have to rely on magic alone. So, beyond their names, do you know anything of the gods? No? You grew up along the southern border with Povia, didn't you? Yes, it makes more sense now. Octavia has been at war there for over 40 years, and the Warmarks have little enough time for gods in times of peace. I am no theologian, and I have no interest in molding your spiritual being, but you must at least be told the tale if you are to understand the most basic principles of magic. Not a tale, child, origin of our world, Aalveir. Relax, get comfortable. For as long as there have been gods, Oa has been king over them. When Oa awakes, the gods leave their homes in the night sky to attend him. When Oa sleeps, the gods move back to their castles in the sky, bringing us the light of the stars. And for as long as there have been gods, there have been dragons, the messengers of the gods. Oa ruled the minds of his people, but his daughter, Iah, ruled their hearts. She was so beloved that even Saren, the god of life and death, asked for her hand. Saren was the only threat to Oa's rule, so the great Lightbringer betrothed his daughter to him without her consent or even her knowledge. When Saren came to her, she turned him away, for she had already freely given her heart to another. This other was discovered to be the dragon Q, Oa's personal messenger, and the first and greatest of the dragons. When Saren learned of this, he was insulted and furious. He demanded Iah's love and her hand. When she refused him again, he declared war on the throne. This would have torn apart the heavens, and so Oa, ostensibly to keep the peace, imprisoned his daughter in a silver orb. He commissioned then each of his 8 highest-ranking courtiers, including Saren, to create a song. When the 8 songs were completed, Oa wove them together into a ring and set his imprisoned child adrift in the sky, carried on the waves of the celestial music. Look out of the window. You can see her there. Yes, child, the goddess Iah is imprisoned in the moon. The 3 smaller moons that circle it are her handmaidens, Ganica, the goddess of love and sorrow, Umbrit, goddess of anger and liberty, and Caliphate, goddess of fear and hate. And it is by the movement of the handmaidens that we count our days, weeks, and months. Each eclipse of Caliphate brings the next of the celestial songs into prominence. This is important, child, and very relevant to you now, for the 8 songs are the magic of this world. Tell me, do you know the difference between wizards and sorcerers? Wizards, such as you will become, learn and study the patterns of the music, and weave these patterns into lyrical spells. It is taxing, yes, and requires diligence and practice. But it is steady, repeatable, and safe. Well, safer anyway. Sorcerers however, actually hear one of the celestial songs. They must only sing along with what they hear to cast their spells, which tend to be much more powerful. Where a wizard might create a glass of water, a sorcerer might create a lake. Oh, do not envy them, child, for no mortal being is meant to hear that music. The power they channel warps their minds and their bodies over time, and eventually the power will always tear them apart. There are no old sorcerers in the world. You distract me, child. I was telling you the tale. Once Iah was set upon the ring of music, Q immediately gave chase, and there is no being as fast as the great dragon. To slow the creature, Oa placed a bowl of water on the dragon's back and threw in a handful of stones. This bowl is called, in the most ancient texts, Aalveir, which means punishment. And that punishment is our world. The breath of the dragon Q is the clouds and the fog, and its tears are the rain. And so we live, our civilizations rising and falling on a handful of stones, in a bowl of water, on the back of a dragon chasing the moon. Of course, there is more for the telling, but you must now return to the Hall of Initiates. Yes, the crescendo of the Song of Darshas Nay has passed. It is safe to travel, if you do so quietly, and do not dally. It has been a pleasure, young wizard. I will speak with you again. Now, go, and do close the door behind you. Good night. Nicht, Grevakt wahrscheinlich.